Hello and welcome to another exciting We Uplift moment. I'm Natalie from Healing Isis and Whispering Energy. And once again, I have the extreme pleasure of talking with Chris Sade from the Olive Branch Center. Chris, we've talked before, and there's one question that I have in my mind, and I think you can probably highlight how it works. You working with the Olive Branch Center, which is all about peace and love, but
Yeah,
your background, or maybe because your background
yeah,
is from Lebanon, can you talk a little bit about your time in Lebanon during war times and how it has influenced your life now and what you do now?
sure, sure. Thank you for asking me that, Natalie. And I fully agree with you. It has been a major, major influence. It has been a life transforming experience.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in Beirut, Lebanon, and I was born to a Christian family. And Lebanon
Ooh,
is both, I mean, the gift of Lebanon is it's multi religious, so it's both
right.
Christian and Muslim. And very early on, at about the age of 13, I got involved in the Christian peace movement. And
Mm-hmm.
then after a couple of years, I assumed some leadership positions. And we were
Mm-hmm.
working in the ghettos of Lebanon, in refugee camps, and in southern Lebanon that was torn between the battle between Israel and the Palestinian resistance. So the
Mm-hmm.
people of the villages were paying the price. So we would go there on weekends and work with them and help them with medical issues and so on. And then when I was about 20, 21, the war broke out in Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
So we had, and you know, the war was a big war. We ended up
Right.
having 16 years of war in
I
Lebanon. So
remember that. Yes, I
yeah,
watched it on
yeah,
TV.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was a long war,
Yes.
and it was a civil war, and also Syria was involved, and Israel was involved,
Mm-hmm.
and Libya was sending some people to Lebanon, and it was very, very difficult, and hundreds of
Right.
thousands of people died and got maimed.
Yeah.
So I continued working with the peace movement at that time, and I
Mm-hmm.
stayed in Lebanon for 7 years of the 16 years war.
Wow.
So I had that experience for 7 years.
Yeah.
And I saw Beirut. I mean, I personally saw Beirut destroyed several
Mm.
times when I was there. And
And you
um,
said that that's your hometown, right? I mean, that's
yes,
added,
yes,
I
yes.
guess, grief right there.
Oh, tremendous grief, tremendous grief.
Yeah.
And then, you know, my family and I had to seek refuge because we were our land, our homes were taken, and we were
Wow.
taken as hostages for five
Mm.
days. And by the grace of God, we did survive, thank
Yes.
God.
Yes.
But these 5 days, we didn't know what was going to happen. So it
Mm-hmm.
was it was quite of a traumatic experience. But the learning, and the transformation that was happening in my own spirit was unbelievable.
Hmm. So seeing that and your experience in the peace movement then led you, I don't think directly to the United States. I think you went to France first,
Yes, I
right?
went to France first, and then I came to the U.S. My mother is
Hmm.
born American, so I was able to come here. Thank
Okay.
God, and I was welcome into this country and
Right.
sought refuge. But that was after I went to France, and then I came here. Yes.
Did you continue your peace work while you were in France, or did you take some time out to really process everything that you had witnessed?
It was more of a processing time. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
was involved a bit in the peace movement, but it was mainly a time to think and study and read and get into psychology and study psychology, study history, study
Mm-hmm.
spirituality and the different religions of the world. Because it was what I saw in Lebanon was fascinating. On one hand, I saw the madness of war, the
Mm-hmm.
incredible, the violence, the incredible violence. And Natalie, one image that always stayed with me. I went. In the beginning of the war, I wanted to kind of. Um, I wanted to really go and see what was happening to the children. So I went
Right.
to a hospital, a Muslim hospital for
Mm-hmm.
children, and then I went to a Christian hospital for children. And I
Mm-hmm.
saw young children, Muslim children that were maimed. I mean, tremendously maimed. And then same thing happened to the Christian. And the madness of that. I mean,
Yes.
how can we explain that to the children? In the
Mm-hmm.
name of what are we destroying their lives? And
Yeah.
that touched me so deeply about the madness of violence and the
Mm-hmm.
madness of having position of my religion is right and your religion
Mm-hmm.
is wrong. I mean, it's on the other hand, Natalie, I saw during the war acts of love and compassion and
Mm-hmm.
care and reaching out like I have never seen in my life. so that you could also see the beauty of the compassionate spirit, the beauty of the divine spirit flowing through people, regular people that were doing acts of heroic compassion. That was unbelievably touching.
So then you've really, I mean, they always say war brings out the best and the worst in people, and so you sound like you've really seen both sides very intensely.
It is very true. I think it's
Wow.
very true. I think we see the clash between the divine spirit of love and compassion and justice and solidarity. I mean, people felt that we are all in it together. We have to help each other. We would reach out to each other. And
Right.
on the other hand, some were abducted by a spirit of domination and violence, unfortunately. Yeah.
Have you been back to Lebanon since you've moved to the United States?
I have not. I have
Okay.
not been back to Lebanon. I have uh, not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Because, of course, I'm wondering. I mean, even though you've clearly done a lot of processing and you found, I guess, your purpose in life with the Olive Branch
Yeah,
Center and,
sure.
psychology and so forth, there's probably still a little bit that. I mean, I just know from my own background, I always long to go back home every now and then just to reconnect a little bit. But of course, I didn't grow up in war times, you
Well,
know.
it's a mystery for me. I think at the right time I will be guided. But I mean, Lebanon lives in my heart, and especially
Right.
the people that I worked with that I've seen suffer personally, and I've seen a lot of them left out because they were poor or they
Yeah.
couldn't they afford medical help or things like that. Their memory is seared in my heart. It's seared in my heart, and that's why I came to realize that we have to create peace. We have to build bridges. We have to be involved, because when the madness of war breaks out, it affects everybody.
Right.
It affects everybody. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, if you're meditating or not meditating. It's going to come and knock on your door.
Yeah.
And I felt that it is important that all of us together we get involved in creating a vision of social justice, a vision of bridge building, a vision of inclusion between religions that
Right.
can help us prepare a different world. And I believe that we can do it. I mean, I saw so much beauty during my lifetime, and especially during the war, of people dedicated at an incredible level, just regular people. That's an energy
Yeah.
available if we call it into action.
Yeah, that's powerful. And I think the other piece that's really powerful is that you've mentioned Christians and Muslims
Yes.
working with each other because we have
Oh,
that stereotype, but
yes.
it seems that the more open we are, and that's probably why I love the fact that you talk about spirituality more than
Yes.
religion.
Yes,
It seems
definitely.
to be more open to diversity, and it just seems so much more connective in many ways. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, there were some Christians who were very dogmatic and very
Hmm.
hateful, and then there were Muslims and there were Christians who were tremendously helpful and in
Hmm.
solidarity, and there were Muslims who were dogmatic, but there were a lot of
Right.
Muslims who were risking their lives to help Christians, to help
Yeah.
children, to stop the war. I mean, putting themselves in
Yeah.
front of bullet. I mean, love, that's what I learned, is the love of the divine is present in every race, in every religion, but we
Yeah.
have to call it into action. We have to tell people, get out there, join hands, make a difference. There is a reservoir of love that transcends all religions and is
Yeah.
present in every group. And when it's out there, it's just amazingly beautiful and impactful. Um, but it cannot be kept dormant and personalized. We cannot personalize that force of the divine
Right.
feminine and the divine masculine, of the divine in us. We can't personalize it. It belongs to the world
Yeah.
and to
Well,
those who are suffering.
and like you said, we just need to call it into action. And hopefully,
Yes,
with the work that you do, we can call it into action without another war. We don't need a war
yes,
to get
yes.
more spiritual and to share the love that we have.
And that's why I think all spiritual leaders,
Hmm.
we mentioned Andrew Harvey, of course, at one point,
Right.
Matthew Fox, and
Hmm.
and Beverly Lanzetta, and all of those people who are calling us into action. I believe that they are incredible prophets of peace, because they
Hmm.
are they are averting another great explosion. You know,
Right.
when we get involved with social issues and justice issues and peace issues, then we can stop the madness before it happens.
True. Yeah. Well, Chris, very powerful. I don't want to ask another question because I think this needs to really sink in, calling the love into action. So I want to thank you for just an amazing time with you, and I hope we will connect again soon. And I know that
Thank you.
everybody can also connect with you on Facebook, right? I believe you have a
Definitely.
page,
Yeah.
the Olive Branch
Yeah.
Center.
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. And also with the Academy of Sacred Leadership
Yes.
that Andrew and I are doing together, Andrew Harvey, yes. And
Yeah.
Natalie, thank you so much. And thank you for your investment in the work you do and the big heart that you bring. I mean, it shows
Well,
to
thank you.
everything that you do. It shows, it is obvious.
Well, thank you very much, and I know we'll connect again soon.
Sure.
Bye
Thank
bye
you.
for now.
Bye bye.